Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna start our sixth lesson. So far, these are all the lessons that we had so far. In lesson one, we downloaded all the software needed to do Java programming, and then we learned Java data types in lesson two. We learned to use the object data type methods in lesson three. And then we learned to use the scanner to read the user input in lesson four. Lesson five, we went over all the operators used in Java. And now we're gonna get into something more interesting. Today, we're gonna learn how to use the if statement in Java. So if you need to review any of the old lessons, you can come to this website and just select the lesson that you would like to review. Anyway, and today's lesson is going to be in this website too, as soon as we're done with it. So let's start. We're going to start by going to our project. Our project is Learn Java Coding. And then I'm going to go to the simple Java coding package. And as we have always done before, we start by copying an old program over and we rename it to the new program. So I'm gonna copy this one, read user input. I'm gonna copy. That's an old Java program that we did before. And then I'm gonna paste it into the same package, simple Java coding package. I'm gonna do a paste, and then I'm gonna rename it. So let's name this one if statements. If statements. If statement. Okay, click OK. So that's the name of our new program, and here it is. I'm gonna open it, and now I'm gonna modify it. So here you see the package is simple Java coding, and I have an import scanner. I'm just gonna leave that there because I believe I'm gonna need it today for this lesson. So I'll just leave the import there, and then I'm gonna come down to here. Again, if you wanna go to our tutorial website, this is the tutorial website. This is the New York City real estate website if you wanna check it out. That website is being built using Java and SQL. So we're using everything we learned here to build that website. So now let me go down to here. I'm gonna need the scanner. So to start, I would like to ask the user to enter his height, his or her height. So I'm gonna say, please enter your height in inches. So I don't want them to say like 5'9" or whatever. I just want them to be in inches, like 69 inches or 72 inches, whatever, in a whole number. So next I'm gonna read the user's input. So I'm gonna do string equal to. So first I declare my new scanner here. Now I'm gonna read the next integer that the user enter. So I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna prompt them to enter the input, and then I'm gonna read it in. And I'm gonna change this to be integer height. So that's the user's height. And then I'm gonna print out the user's height. So I'm gonna say your height is. So basically I'm just gonna print out what they just entered to confirm. Your height is height. Okay. Now here comes today's lesson. So I'm gonna remove all this. In fact, let me remove all these. So basically we took an old program and we modify it to the way we want it in this new program. This way we don't have to retype a lot of the stuff that was there already. So now I'm gonna say if I'm gonna enter my if statement here. If height is greater than 90, and that's 90 inches, then I'm gonna print you are tall. And then here I'm gonna print goodbye. So that indicates the end of the program. And then we close the scanner down here. Okay, so let's run this and see how it works. So here it says please enter your height. I'm gonna say 98 inches. Enter. So it says your height is 98. That's why I just entered. And it says you are tall. Goodbye. Okay. So since 98 is greater than 90, so it prints you are tall. Now what happens if I enter something that is less than 90? So say like now I say 86. So my height now it's 86. It says your height is 86 and it just says goodbye. So it doesn't say you are tall because the height is less than 90. So it checks to see if the height is greater than 90, and the answer is false because 86 is less than 90. That's why it does not execute anything inside this if statement. Okay, so that's how the if statement works. It just checks if it's true, if the condition here is true, then everything inside these brackets gets executed. Otherwise, it does not get executed. Now you can use the if statement to compare strings as well. So right here in this example, we use the if statement to compare integer. Or maybe let me try before I go into that. Let me use this example, and I'm gonna do an if else statement. Maybe that would be even more interesting. So if your height is greater than 90, it's gonna say you are tall. I'm gonna add an else statement here. Else this out. You are short. Okay, let's try that and see what happened. I'm gonna run it. Please enter your height. If I say 96, it says you are tall. If I run it again, now if I say 86, now it says you are short. So if this condition here is true, it's gonna execute this statement. If it's false, instead of doing nothing as before, in this case, if it's false, it goes to the else statement, and it's gonna do this statement. So it printed you are short. Now you can have an else if statement. So you can have an if statement, else, another if statement here. So else if, then I need a condition here. So I'm gonna have to insert this into here. Else if height is greater than 70 or maybe 60, you are average. And then after that, I'm gonna do an else statement. So here we have an if, else if, else. So if height is greater than 90, it's gonna say you are tall. If otherwise, if height is less than 90, is less than or equal to 90, and greater than 60, it's gonna say you are average. And if both of these conditions are not true, then it's gonna say you are short. Which means if you are 60 inches or below, then it's gonna say you are short. Then it's gonna say goodbye. Okay, let's try that. Enter your height, 96. You are tall. Now if I run it again, if I enter 86, it says you are average. If I run it again, this time I'm gonna say 53 inches, which is less than 60. And it says you are short. Okay, so that's how the if, else works. And in fact, you can have nested if. So you can have an if statement within another if statement. So inside this if statement, if the height is greater than 90, I can have another if statement. If or this time I'm gonna do it without the brackets. If you only have one statement, you can either do with a bracket or without a bracket. So I'm gonna show you how to do it without the bracket. If height is greater than 100 inches, you are extremely tall. And I'm just going to indent this to make it look nice. Else you are tall. Okay, so what it is here is if your height is greater than 90, it's gonna check again. There's a nested if else inside this if, right? So it's gonna check again. If the height is greater than 100, it's gonna say you are extremely tall. Else, it's gonna say you are tall. Else meaning it's between 91 and 100. Then it's gonna say you are tall. If it's greater than 100, it's gonna say you are extremely tall. Okay, let's try and run that. So now my height is 101. So it says you are extremely tall. If my height is 96, on the other hand, it just says you are tall. So this is how you use nested ifs with an if statement inside another if statement. So that's how the if else works, and the nested if works. Now you can use the if statement for strings as well. Let's say if I prompt the user is your name Max, and then I'm gonna ask the user to answer yes or no, right? So now I'm gonna read the answer. The answer is gonna be a string, so I have to change my variable to a string variable. And I'm gonna name this variable rs for response from the user. It's gonna be a string, so I'm gonna do a read next line to read the whole line, to read the string. And I'm gonna print out your name is, and it's gonna be whatever the user entered. In this case, the variable is rs, and I see there's an error here, so let's see what it is. It says syntax error. You need to insert a right parentheses, close parentheses. So I'm missing a parentheses. I'm just gonna enter it, and now the system is happy. And here, now we want to check to see if the answer is yes. So I'm gonna say if rs equals to yes. And I don't need the nested ifs here, so I'm just gonna have the regular if else statement here. If rs is equal to yes, print you are Max. Else, I don't need an else if here. I'm just gonna get rid of this. Else, print you are not Max. and goodbye, right? Let's see what the system is complaining about here. So it does not like this if statement, and because the equal sign is an assignment. So actually what it is doing here is it's trying to convert a string to a boolean, which I'm not sure why it's converting to a boolean, but to compare you need two equal signs instead of one. So you cannot just do one equal sign, you should do two equal signs. Okay, now everything looks good. It doesn't complain anymore. Let's try and run it, see what happened. Is your name Max? Yes or no? I'm gonna say yes. Your name is yes. You are not Max. That's interesting. So the first error here is your name is not RS, because the response is either yes or no. So we want to say your name is, actually we should say, let me undo this. We should say your response is, and it's gonna say yes or no, and then it's gonna say you are Max or you are not Max here. So okay, we fixed that problem. Let's try and run it again. Is your name Max? I'm gonna say yes. Your response is yes, and it says, this is interesting here because it says you are not Max. Why is that? Because I say yes, my response is yes, and it's comparing with yes, but still it says I am not Max. And the reason for that is because when you compare string, you shouldn't compare using the double equal sign, but you should use the method to compare. So I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna do, instead of the double equal sign, I'm gonna do rs, which is the user's response here, dot equals yes. So basically this is gonna return the boolean. So it's gonna say is rs equal to yes. If it's true, if it's equal, it's gonna return true, otherwise it's gonna return false. And let's see if this fixes the problem. Is your name Max? I'm gonna say yes. Your response is yes. You are Max. That is the result that we would like to see. Now let's say we run it again. Is your name Max? If I say no, then it says you are not Max. So that is the correct response that we wanted. So that's how we compare strings. We're going to use the dot equals instead of the double equal sign. One other thing we can do is we can use a boolean variable. So let's say if I declare a boolean variable, so I'm gonna have boolean b, and then here I'm gonna say b is equal to, and remember this expression here returns a boolean. So I'm gonna put that expression, the result of this expression, into my boolean variable, and I'm gonna put a b in here. So this b here is gonna it's gonna contain the value either true or false. And I will print it out here so we can see the value of b. So I'm gonna say b equals to the value of b. Let's run it. Is your name Max? Yes. Your response is yes. B is true because B is comparing my response with yes. So in this case, my response is yes, so B is true, and it says you are Max. If I run it again, if I say no, my name is not Max, it says B is false, and it says you are not Max. So that's how you use a boolean variable in an if statement. So today we learned how to use an if statement to compare integers, to compare strings, and to use a boolean variable in the if statement. And that's how the if statement works. You also learn how to use the if-else statement and the nested if statement. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.